Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, change is coming to the education sector to foster greater synergy between courses of study and the job market. The Minister for Family Affairs commends government's plans to make college education free in Dominica, and the One China policy continues to bear fruit for Dominica 15 years on. The details of the news coming up.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow. First up in the news, significant change expected within Dominica's education system. Prime Minister Skerrit is promising a paradigm shift in the education system as far as the syllabus is concerned. The idea is to ensure that training opportunities within the education system are properly aligned with national pursuits and endeavors.
So that we do not have a situation in our country and in the Caribbean where students go to study things that our country do not need at a particular time, or that we are saturated in one area and very deficient in another. And that can cause great frustration. A young person who would have gone and spent 3-4 years at university and come back and the economy is not able to absorb you because too many of our brothers and sisters are already in that area. So we need to guide our young people in career pursuits so that when they come back to the region, because it's not a Dominica specific challenge, it is a regional challenge, and I dare say even a global challenge, that sometimes there is a mismatch with regards to what the country requires and what we as young people go out to pursue. And I'm not saying so to say to people that you should not be what you want to be, but we also have to recognize that the attainment of a university degree is an investment, and you ought to make the returns on an investment. So we have to be wise in our approach to what we want to do and how we're going to do it and so forth.
The Prime Minister announced on Monday that effective May 13, 2019, tuition fees at the Dominica State College would have been discontinued. He also announced that all outstanding student debt was cancelled. Prior to this announcement by the Prime Minister, government had already been paying college fees for a number of students. College students will now be required to get involved in voluntary service in their respective communities. In other news, Minister for Family Affairs Catherine Daniel has described the Prime Minister's announcement to discontinue tuition fees for Dominica State College students as a sign of resilience. Daniel says well-educated youth will provide for more resilient citizens.
When our children receive the care and support to enjoy a decent life and gain a wholesome education, then we will indeed have a resilient country. Now, talking about wholesome education, the announcement made by the Prime Minister on the removal of tuition fees at the Dominica State College for all students is a clear indication of this government's commitment to ensuring that our children obtain the tools for development of self and country, thus becoming resilient citizens. The impact goes, the roots are deep. That State College pronouncement where all can attain the level of education that is needed for the development of their communities, the development of the country.
Daniel made the remarks on Wednesday, which was also being observed as International Day of Families under the theme Families and Climate Action, focus on SDG 13.
I am pleased to inform you that the activities in observance of International Family Day has been expanded to run from May 15th to June 22nd, 2019, because we have a lot of activities going on. The calendar of events will showcase the family issues impacting the ability to be resilient and allude to actions that can be taken to avert the same.
The Family Affairs Minister was speaking at the National Climate Resilience Consultation for councils on Wednesday and cautioned councillors that resilience will be achieved when every member of society is involved.
We will achieve resilience when we ensure that the services we provide as council reach the most vulnerable among us. This is very, very important. The services that we give to our people. And this is an area, this is a critical area which I think today you should focus on, examine carefully the weaknesses, the strengths in your delivery of this service, as this will make you a strong council or a weak council. We need to provide professional, effective, and efficient service to the elderly and physically challenged, and to all.
Prime Minister Skerrit has described post-Maria recovery efforts in Dominica as phenomenal. Mr. Skerrit says the seriousness of his administration, coupled with the kind of leadership provided, has gone a long way in improving post-Hurricane Maria conditions in a country as small as Dominica.
Hurricane Maria hit us. No access to potable water. Poor housing condition because all our homes were affected. But there was not an outbreak of any diseases in our country. I ask Dominicans who listen to me, when they criticize this government for its management of the healthcare services, give me one country in the world that has been impacted by a natural disaster like Dominica, and where there was not an outbreak of some kind of disease. Do your research and tell me publicly which country. I am not here to name countries because it's not in my position to do. But what we did with the help of our partners and our local staff under trying circumstances is something that every single citizen should tap himself or herself on the shoulder and say, well done, good and faithful servant. And these are some of the positive things that we talk about the country. Not only about focusing on negatives. Here we have the Chinese government helping us. This country has its own challenges. Yes, it might be the second largest economy in the world, but it has its own challenges. But yet still they're here investing in excess of $45 million US in our economy, in our healthcare system. Because this equipment that they put in, they're not cheap equipment. This is why countries cannot afford them in the Caribbean. They're not cheap to buy and they're not cheap to maintain. And to have a situation where in Dominica, will be the second, we're trying to find out whether we're the only, but I will save the second for the time being, until I'm corrected. We're the second country in the Caribbean that's going to have the HIFU medical equipment. So that persons who are ill, we don't have to put in, on the table and cut you up and suture you and so on. That we can go in there and separate the hormones and treat you, and so you can go home the same day. That is a revolutionary step in the delivery of healthcare services.
Mr. Skerrit says that every Dominican must be grateful to the People's Republic of China, which has kept every promise made to the people of Dominica.
And we must condemn, and we must stand in defense of our Chinese friends. When we hear countries and leaders of other countries criticizing the presence of China in the Caribbean and giving all sorts of misinformation about why China is in the Caribbean, we must stand in this. We must not get involved into geopolitics. I'm not asking anybody to get involved in geopolitics, but when somebody is a friend, that person must be a friend, and we must stand in defense and in solidarity with that friend at all times. And this is why, no matter what the consequences are, I stand on principle. I stand for something. And we will continue to condemn what these countries are seeking to impute and to seek to want to give the impression that China is in the Caribbean with ulterior motives. The Chinese government hasn't asked us for half of Dominica. They don't place us in situations that will jeopardize ourselves. All they have been here to us is to hold our hands and say, we are your friends in good times and more importantly in bad times. and they have proven that in the 15 years we've had relationships. My only regret where the relationship with Dominica and China is concerned is that we did not establish relations with China in 1978 when we became an independent country.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
TB estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vemin lan. Moun ki pa ni bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e gwan moun, bien sensible pour ces maladies sa la. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou pran précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvre bouche ou le ou ka estene e tousse. Visite docteur e ben place santé yo. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa jwen guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou, aider du bout sime maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
Prime Minister Skerrit has reassured the ambassador of the People's Republic of China of his government's commitment to upholding the One China principle. It was in recognition of the One China principle that Prime Minister Skerrit broke ties with Taiwan and established diplomatic relations with the PRC in 2004. The decision by Prime Minister Skerrit to choose the PRC over Taiwan attracted some criticism, but the completion of the first phase of the new national hospital serves as another outcome of that decision taken 15 years ago.
Our adherence as a government to the One China principle was done in recognition that there is but one China, and also our adherence to international law, because in international law it recognizes the sovereignty of the People's Republic of China over the whole of China, and that there being but one China. And so for many years, for 24 years of our existence, we were in non-conformity with international law. And I feel privileged and humbled to have been the Prime Minister to have recognized that Dominica's economic and social advancement was better placed with a friend called the People's Republic of China. And Ambassador, rest assured that we shall continue to adhere to the One China principle. We consider to be the Chinese government to be an ally of the people of Dominica, and we look forward to the continued strengthening of our relationship. But you know, I'm very pleased for this gift. This is a major investment. We cannot put a true dollar value to this project. Where health is concerned, there's no cost. You know, we all want to maintain good health at whatever cost it is, and the Chinese government has not compromised on any aspect of this project.
The Prime Minister says the completion of the hospital project will mean significant benefits for Dominica on multiple levels. He has also reiterated the need to have a management team to run the hospital upon completion.
But we are excited about the completion of this project because one appreciates the positive impact it will make, even with the first phase. Comparing what we have now to the existing accident and emergency department, the additional facilities that we will have at the hospital to ensure that we can deliver optimum and optimal medical services to our citizens. And in the process, the reviewing of the administration of the hospital, the government will be appointing a chief executive officer who will be responsible for running the hospital, because we believe it's unfair to have somebody who's supposed to be in surgery, performing surgeries on a patient, to be running around managing a hospital. The doctor's responsibility really is to treat patients and not to treat a hospital, and we are wanting them to focus exclusively on delivery of medical services and not be burdened with administrative issues. Because I always feel uncomfortable when I have to invite staff from the hospital, and then I have medical doctors who really should be looking at patients in a meeting with the most lowly citizen of our country, myself, when they have other important things to do. So I am very excited about this project, and we look forward to its completion. So healthcare in Dominica is a very exciting juncture in the history of our country. We have more specialists in our country than ever before, and the important thing that 98% of them are Dominican citizens, young Dominicans. And my hope and prayer is that they can look to making a very commendable contribution to the delivery of medical services. And with the administration structure which will play, the governance structure which we will put into the hospital, with the administrative structure, we continue to ensuring that we have that the hospitals continue to be fully financially resourced.
Contracts are expected to be signed shortly for construction of 10 health centers across the country. Local village councils have been challenged to revolutionize the way they build resilience in the communities. Here is Andrea Louis with a report.
The call came from Minister for Climate Resilience, Joseph Isaac, who was speaking at the National Climate Resilience Consultation for Councils on Wednesday, which forms part of activities for Local Government Month. Isaac says the responsibility of building climate resilience does not lie only with government.
The issue of climate resilience would therefore involve significant training across the board and also the sharing of knowledge at the community level. It would therefore require leadership and participation of everyone involved, not just central government, not just the local government institution, but really the people, starting with all of us here this morning. I'd therefore like to challenge you in developing practical action plan for actually starting off a revolution of building resilience at the community level.
The minister warned the councillors to ensure residents and communities follow the country's building codes when undertaking infrastructure projects.
Sometimes we are playing too friendly and allow people to do the wrong things and not enforce our laws in Dominica. I'm therefore asking all the village councils, our city council, town council, to enforce our laws. Our physical planning division has its part to play. But at the community level, in order for us to ensure that we get compliance, we must enforce the laws. Because we'll be trying to do one thing at the local government level and the central government level, and at the people level, they might be building homes that are not up to par.
Meantime, Local Government Commissioner Glenroy Toussaint urged the councillors to be agents of change in their communities.
At the end of the exercise, the council will be better positioned to chart a course for a community-based resilience strategy in keeping with the National Resilient Development Strategy Dominica 2013, the blueprint for making Dominica the first climate resilient country in the world. I wish to encourage you, the councillors and clerks, to participate fully in today's exercise and be an agent for change in our quest of building a more resilient Dominica. Rest assured, the Department of Local Government and the Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs will continue to provide the requisite support for the district teams in pursuit of your plans and programs.
Local Government Month is being observed under the theme Strengthening Community Resilience Through Local Government. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
A major fundraiser for Our Lady of Fairhaven Cathedral has been put on hold. We go back now to Andrea Louis for more.
The praise cruise was being organized by the church fundraising committee to help produce the $3 million needed to complete the cathedral renovation project. However, deacon in the Catholic Church and administrator of the Fatima Parish, Alvin Knight, who was spearheading the praise cruise initiative, says several factors with the cruise lines have led to the church postponing the event.
The first one that we thought we would have gotten eventually came back to us, and they were giving us less rooms than we wanted, which would have meant that doesn't make sense. It did not make sense to go on with the number of cabins that we were getting. We tried another line, cruise line. They were giving us sufficient rooms to make it worthwhile, but the deposit that we had to pay was kind of very, very high. we went back to them and they broke down, but even then it was still too high for us. The initial investment we would have had to make would mean dipping into the church funds, which already is very scarce.
Knight pointed out that several people had expressed interest in attending the praise cruise. However, payments were not forthcoming, and this also contributed to the cruise being put on hold.
The other thing about it is a lot of people showed interest, but they were not coming forth with the initial payment. You know, if that was happening, then it would have been easy to tell the cruise lines, look, we have so much, would you work with that until, as we go along, we can pay more. But people were not coming forward. They were showing interest, they were taking the registration forms, but people were not coming back with the initial amount, which was $100 US registration and $200 US to book the cabin. That's what we were asking. People were coming with that, then it would have been easy to tell the cruise lines, look, we have so much, we expect so much, therefore can you work with us?
The praise cruise was initially scheduled for March 2020. Knight says the committee is still exploring options on whether the cruise can take place later in the year.
What we've done is kind of put it on hold, looking again at another cruise line to see if we can get a better deal from them. But it would mean that the dates for the cruise would be later in the year 2020, if it happens at all. So at this moment, it is probably best to say it's on hold. We are not canceling, we're not saying it's postponed, we're just saying it's on hold for the time being. We just want to tell people, if at all it's on again, please don't wait, but register right away so we know the numbers that we have and we can negotiate with the cruise lines.
I love the freedom when I'm out there. Simply put, the worries from shore, none of that out there. And it's my daily bread. I learned it from my dad. My dad is one of the senior guys here who catch the biggest fish around here. And he's top with the red snappers. It's a family thing. I'm the only one fishing right now in the family. Just keeping it going. I enjoy bringing them up, man. Sometimes you have a yellowfin tuna, 400 pounds. Man, let me tell you, that's just a joy out there. I enjoy going out there and just holding the big fish. I don't lift weights, I lift fish. The morning of my fishing trip, I would get up, make a little spiced tea. Then I come down here. I have my GPS, which most fishermen are supposed to have that. Normally I prepare the day before, because whenever you're going out there, you must have ice. Ice is a must for preservation of the fish. So I always make sure I have everything the day before. My fish represents me, and I bring good quality fish ashore simply because the restaurants themselves, they have to show a quality product. Tourism and agriculture go hand in hand. That's what I think. We're all connected. It's like a big machine, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. My name is Brandon Carlisle, and tourism is my business.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow. To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Changes coming to the education sector to foster greater synergy between courses of study and the job market. The Minister for Family Affairs commends government's plans to make college education free in Dominica. And the One China policy continues to bear fruit for Dominica 15 years on. Feel free to contact us at news@mapin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.